Hi, I'm Deanna Sittner, and this is my case study on Internet use violations for EDL 850 School Law, Module 14. So I'm going to start out with Category 1, Problem Identification and Analysis. What do I know? So in the case, I know that Slattery-Steno High School is in a very affluent neighborhood. Dr. Smith is an award-winning established principal. He's been there 9 years. He's respected by parents, and this is very important to him. Dr. Smith hired Miss Tate 1 year ago, so when the incident occurs, she's at the beginning of her onset of her second year of teaching. Miss Tate has stringent expectations, and her classroom is somewhat of a stressful environment for students. Dr. Smith has received complaints both from students and parents, and has followed up by discussing strategies with her to improve her positive student interactions, but this has not been a success. Inappropriate and possibly threatening messages about Miss Tate have been posted to a website. Miss Tate lets Dr. Smith know she does not feel safe. Dr. Smith asks who she thinks may be responsible and states that they will take steps to resolve the problem. So we have Miss Tate basically is very scared and cannot do obviously her best teaching when she's scared and uncomfortable in her position. So next, what do I need to know? Who has been vocal in a negative sense, both in the classroom and with complaints to Dr. Smith? So Dr. Smith does ask Ms. Tate to think about and let him know who has been overly disruptive or disgruntled. And then, of course, since he's had parents complain, he can also look at that information as well. I need to know, what are the district policies regarding harassment and cyberbullying? What guidelines do I need to follow? What has happened that has broken or, gone out of the bounds of those, and how should that be followed up with? Next, what can the IT department do in regards to finding this information? So getting them started on working on who posted, where the email came from, and who posted the Facebook page would be critical. What steps then can be taken to punish the offender or offenders when identified? So in other words, what steps can be taken? Does legal action need to be taken? Do the authorities need to be involved? These are all things that I would need to know. And then last thing in category 1 would be identifying the problem. So basically our problem is Miss Tate is being harassed or cyberbullied, possibly by students or parents. Miss Tate is not responding to suggestions on improving the environment of her class and interactions with students and parents. This is kind of the underlying cause of what has happened. Therefore, it is part of the problem. Miss Tate does not feel safe either at work or at home due to the harassment. She was willing to drive to her parents 3 hours one way just to spend the night on a school night because of her fear due to this threat. So it is a major problem. So category 2, proposed plan of action. So a plan of action for this case would be to notify the superintendent and any other school officials necessary. This may, depending on your district and what they suggest, include involving the local law enforcement, but that would kind of depend on what your district requires. Next, talking with Ms. Tate to gather more information about the situation, getting her information and figuring out who has been, a big problem for her and who might have had a role in this. Since Ms. Tate did identify that William may have a part in this, or she feels that's who it may be, talking with William and any other students that may have had a role in the incident. However, making sure that when you're talking with them, it is simply just gathering information, not accusing or anything like that, just respectfully gathering information and using that information to help you further your investigation. Next, we need to discuss with IT how to find who has posted these messages. Next, I would definitely want to meet with all the staff, let them know what is happening, gather any information they may have or things they may have heard from other students, which is often a great way to get what's going on. And also to keep them in the loop, because it's important that the staff not be, getting things just piecemeal from different people who basically are gossiping. So keeping the staff informed and asking them to be professional and keeping the talk about this to, only to a professional level. And then lastly, taking steps to meet Miss Tate, to make Miss Tate feel safe. So needing to provide a sub while the investigation is occurring and you're talking with students, staff, so she can do her best. You can't stand in front of a classroom of students when you're worried that one of them has, made a personal threat to you. So I think that this would be an important thing to do. Next would be strategies to implement this plan. Following district policies on filing an incident report and, of course, reporting to authorities if needed. Another strategy would be to document everything. Every single thing should be documented. Following technology guidelines for cyberbullying and shutting down and reporting the site. That would be really important to get that shut down immediately to limit the continuing talk of what's going on. Treating students and staff with respect as the investigation is done without singling anyone out or discussing the situation just randomly with folks. And then let staff and students know that the situation will be investigated, resolved, and handled quickly and fairly. I think these would be your strategies you would want to put in place. Category 3, promoting success of all students. So what is best for the students? Well, in this case, acting in a swift and respectful manner in finding and dealing with the students who have acted inappropriately. This is going to be crucial. Also, while you're doing this, modeling professionalism in handling this case with Miss Tate. Letting everyone know that no matter what happens in the school, you're going to be a professional and you're going to handle it in a way that is respectful and that everyone can be respectful of. Also, following district policies and any laws that apply would be best for students. Next, providing instruction to all students in digital citizenship and making expectations clear. So this is going to be an important piece to make sure that you have got digital citizenship in your curriculum. Providing staff development on improving classroom culture. Again, trying to get to that underlying problem that caused or brought this situation to a head. Also working with Miss Tate directly to improve her teaching strategies so she can succeed as well as the students. And then category 4 is reflecting. So my feelings about this case, definitely determined to find and punish those responsible. It needs to be handled swiftly and carefully, but I would be determined no matter what to make this happen. Concern for long-term effects on Miss Tate and her teaching. This kind of a stressful incident could really have a long-term effect with her. So, and having some issues with her anyway may be something to address and kind of look at later. Disappointed that someone would deliberately harm another through cyberbullying. It's always disappointing to me when people will take these steps to harm one another. And then finally, confident that this case can be used to improve both school procedures and awareness of the problem, as well as to be a catalyst to improving teacher confidence in working with students and providing a positive learning environment. So while this is a bad situation, I really think that it could be used to improve some of the things that could keep it from happening in the future at the school. Unresolved issues. In this case, my unresolved issues would be mentoring and working with Miss Tate, as well as other teachers, would definitely be an ongoing process. So this would be something that is not going to be solved immediately, and that would need to be addressed. And then looking at whether Miss Tate is a good fit for the school and whether you would want to keep her on. How to best monitor and handle internet threats and dangers. So this type of thing is going to occur, and it would be important to take a look at how you're going to handle those and have a plan in place. Next, how to continually expose students to digital citizenship, instruction, and values. So this is going to be something important to make sure that you have in your curriculum, and it is a constant and ongoing learning part of your curriculum. And then lastly, handling parent and student complaints with staff. This is always going to be something. So making sure you have a system in place, documentation occurs, and that you're handling these in a fair and consistent manner. Next would be category 5, professional ethics. So acting with integrity. How would I have in acting with integrity? First of all, showing integrity is acting quickly and respectfully. It shows the students and the staff that you are taking the matter seriously and working to resolve the matter to make the school a safe place, which is your utmost concern. Providing staff development and digital citizenship instruction for students to make a positive outcome for all students and staff. Again, it's showing that you have integrity. You're wanting the best for your students and staff. Then alerting and involving district personnel and communicating with parents and staff all show a level of integrity that you are doing your best to take care of and handle this situation properly. The next component would be acting with fairness. In what ways did I act with fairness? Not making any assumptions of guilt. This is difficult, but very important. Keeping an open mind and listening to everyone with information. It's going to be important that you don't automatically assume that the first person somebody points out is guilty, and making sure that you're listening to all information from everyone and not let your emotions get mixed up in it. Next, following district policies and guidelines and dealing with the situation as you would with any incident. So don't treat it different than any incident. That's what fairness is, making sure that you're applying the same principles to this situation as you would with any other. And lastly, acting professionally and documenting all information regarding the investigation. Everything should be documented, and not chatting with others and things like that about it shows that you are being fair and using your best information to try to solve this problem. And then acting in an ethical manner. So this is really important to show, your not only your integrity, but that you are somebody that is modeling behavior that you want your students to follow. So not discussing the matter with anyone. In other words, not gossiping about this without a need, and expecting others to do the same. So holding your staff accountable also for not, randomly chatting about this in the halls and gossiping about the situation. And then not acting presumptuously on information, but rather following the guidelines and waiting until all information is gathered is going to be really important in showing an ethical stance in dealing with this matter. So that is my case study, and thanks for listening.